Hello, Mark. My first news topic is Kim Jong Un's aunt helped purge her own husband in North Korean treasury. Details emerging from North Korea about Kim Jong Un's surprising public purging of his uncle from a top position indicate that it was a family affair with his aunt and brother, armed with a pistol, taking part in the arrests of ranking officials. Analysts who study the secretive regime also fear that the arrest of Jang Song-taek, the man widely known to have been the real power behind Kim, signals a generational change for North Korea as well as period of upheaval. Chen was arrested this week for corruption, acts of treachery, and woman, woman, womaning with state TV airing humiliating photographs of him being dragged out of the party central com- committee meeting by uniformed officers. Trump has supported a smooth transition of power to a young Kim Jong-un, who was 28 at the time of Kim Jong-il's death in 2011. He is the uncle of Kim and husband of Kim Jong-il's sister Kim Yong-hee. What you have to understand is that the North Korean dynasty is run by an absolute bloodbath hereditary min- 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 mindset, pointed out Lee Yong-gyo, the president of North Korea Strategic Information Service Center. The Purge drama was designed by Kim Yong-hee, James' wife, and Kim Jong-un. Lee said she has openly expressed to the political bureau members that John's power line is a threat to the royal family, so she took an obvious choice. Lee claims that Kim Jong-un's older brother Kim Jong-hyun personally directed the arrest of James to Closet 8 last month. He was even armed with a gun when he took General Guard Bureau soldiers to arrest and execute the man, Lee said. Lee is a former North Korea soldier who fled to South Korea from the North in 2005 while working as a science researcher at the same General Guard Bureau's Special Unit unit in charge of Kim family's health. He communicates with former colleagues inside North Korea on a regular basis. The arrest of Jung was remarkable for several reasons. Observers say that purge was surprisingly earlier than expected, Kim's been in power for less than 2 years, and he does not yet have a strong political base in the party. North Korea is likely to be unstable for the time being, said Park Chang-won, senior research fellow at Korea Institute for Defense Analysis in Seoul. What is surprising is the dramatic and public nature of the purge. It's different from what has happened in the past. According to Daniel Pixton, Deputy Project Director for Northeast Asia at the International Crisis Group, it might be a representation of Kim Jong-un's personal nature. The most important significance of Jen's downfall is that it signals the beginning of a generation change of power. He is young, he has a long way to go, and this was an inevitable step to cons- consol- cons- consolidate power around him, with young and fresh generals, said Ko Yu-won, professor of North Korean studies at Dongguk University in Seoul. North Korea state media has been relying on internal loyalty to its great leader Kim Jong-un a daily basis this week. 4 pages were devoted to unloading Shinbom, detailing public reaction to Jen's downfall. How dare someone like Jen tries to cover up the mighty sum, said a director of North Korean Science Research Center. Other statements on the Daily State newspaper included, I want to grab Jen by the neck and shove him down a boiling pot. Jen is worse than an animal, full of immorality and ungratefulness. The South Korea media have also been reporting that a high-level North Korean official close to Jen had fled to China carrying confidential documents on North Korea's nuclear program and Kim Jong-un's private financial assets. Citing unidentified source from North Korea, SBS-TV, one of 3 main terrestrial channels in South Korea, claimed that the dissident is currently under custody of the South Korean government. Jeong Soo contributed to this report. And my next article is studied some cancer treatments can be skipped. Tens of thousands of women each year might be able to skip at least some of the growing treatments for breast cancer, which can include surgery, heavy chemo, and radiation, without greatly harming their odds of survival, new research suggests. The research is aimed at curbing overtreatment, a big problem in cancer care. Treatments help many women beat the disease, but given too many or ones that aren't really needed cause unnecessary expense, trauma, and lifelong side effects, such as arm swelling and heart troubles. Radiation can even raise the risk of new cancers. Several studies presented Wednesday at San Antonio Breast Cancer symposium at International Conference on the Disease identified groups of patients who might be able to safely forego certain treatments. One found that many older women can skip radiation after surgery for early-stage tumors. Two others suggest the surgery may not help patients whose cancer has already spread widely. A fourth study tests a light chemo combination that could become a new standard of care. The trend is less and less therapy for certain cancer types, said one conference leader, Dr. C. Kent Osborne of Baylor College of Medicine. The highlights: surgery. Breast cancer is already widely spread in 5 to 20% of newly diagnosed patients, and at the point is usually in, incurable. The main treatment is chemotherapy or hormone treatments that attack cancer throughout the body. Sometimes doctors always remove the breast tumor in hope of prolonging survival, but this has not been put to a hard test. Dr. Rajendra Badu, director of the Tata Memorial Hospital in Mumbai, India, led a study of 350 women with widely spread cancers that had shrunk after initial chemotherapy. Half were given surgery to remove the breast or the lump, plus any cancerous lymph nodes. The rest did not have surgery. After about 2 years, 40% of both groups were alive, suggesting the medicines are enough that these women can be spared the ordeal of having all or part of breast removed. A second study by Dr. Atla Soran of the University Pittsburgh Medical Center of nearly 300 women in Turkey also suggests surgery is not helping, though there were hints that some groups did better or worse. Surgery seemed to help if cancer had spread just too far, and it appeared to do harm if it had spread to the liver or lungs. These are incredibly important, big deal studies, said Dr. Claudian Isaacs, a breast specialist at Georgetown University's Lombardi Comprehensive Cancer Center. Many doctors jumped on earlier, less rigorous studies and advised women to have surgery, and this should be a warning against that, she said. The results also may spur interest in a U.S. study on the topic. Dr. Seema Han of Northwestern University in Chicago has had so much trouble recruiting participants that she lowered her goal and may not be able to answer the question. There's huge amount of bias among doctors and patients about what is best, she said. Radiation. Most breast cancer are found at an earlier stage, and many women are treated with surgery followed by hormones of chemotherapy plus radiation. But cancer medicines have gotten so good at lowering the risk of recurrence that doctors wonder whether the radiation is still needed. It can cause heart and other problems, especially in older women. The 3 or 4 weeks of daily treatment can be a burden. Dr. Lem Unkler of the University Edinburgh in Scotland led a study of 1,326 patients 65 or older with early-stage cancers whose growth was driven by hormones. This is the most common form of the disease and the age group that counts for most cases. Half were given radiation and half skipped it. After 5 years, roughly 96% of both groups were alive, and most deaths were not from breast cancer. About 1% of those given radiation had cancer recur in the treated breast versus 4% of those who skipped radiation. For every 100 women given radiation, one will have a recurrence anyway. 4 will have a recurrence prevented, but 95 will have had unnecessary treatment. Kukler said, since radiation did not affect survival or the risk of cancer spreading, skipping it is a reasonable option. Light chemo. Doctors are unsure how to treat women with small tumor involving the gene that drug Herceptin targets. Those tumors are low risk because they are still confined to the breast, but high risk because the gene is thought to make them more aggressive. Some women get heavy-duty chemo including drugs that can damage the heart. Dr. Eric Weiner of the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute in Boston led a study of 406 women given light chemo paclitaxel plus Herceptin for 12 weeks, followed by 9 months of Herceptin alone. More than 3 years later, only 4 had cancer recur in the same breast, but 2 had recurrence in other breasts. This is likely to become a new standard, Weiner said. The Cancer Conference is sponsored by the American Association of Cancer Research, Baylor, and the UT Health Center. Okay, my next article is Canada makes North Pole claim. Canada's claiming that North Pole in a move has nothing to do with Christmas. Canada filed its claim Friday to the United Nations Commission on the Limits of the Continental Shelf. According to AFP, the claims hide on the extent of Canada's continental shelf under the Atlantic Ocean, underwater extent of the North American continent that ends in an abrupt escarpment, and the nation is working to map the continental shelf under the Arctic to bolster their North Pole claim. Canada's claim will not go unchallenged. Both Denmark and Russia want the Arctic as their own. in part because of sea routes that are expected to open as polar ice melts, and in part because the region hosts reserves of oil and gas. A 2008 report by the U.S. Geological Survey suggests the Arctic contains about one-fifth of the world's undiscovered oil and nearly a third of the natural gas yet to be found. In response to Canada's claim, Russia promised to step up its military presence in the Arctic. The Guardian newspaper reported the two countries are squabbling over the undersea mountain range called the Lomonosov Ridge, a 1,200-mile-long high band of continental crust that crosses the polar region. Russia insists it's on the ridge. In fact, Russian scientists in 2007 headed to the North Pole to find evidence that the Lomonosov Ridge is a geological extension of Russia. Divers aboard mini subs even planted to flag there on the seafloor of Arctic Ocean. Countries bordering at the Arctic are currently given rights extending 200 nautical miles from their coasts. Canada's claim would extend its nautical border by about 460,000 square miles, about 1.2 million square kilometers. Okay, and my next topic is how to survive a sub-zero stranding. More than 200 rescuers feared for the worst when a couple and 4 children vanished this week in the bitterly cold Nevada wilderness. But 2 days after their ill-fated trip to play in the snow someday, the family was found in good condition. By Wednesday, the mother and a child were released from the hospital. Authorities say the family survived temperatures of 16 degrees below zero with warm clothes and ingenuity. They started a campfire and warmed rocks to capture heat. Experts offer advice on avoiding similar situations and how to respond when the unexpected happens. What should I do first if I get stranded? Food helps, but it's not the top priority, said Steve Hall, a wilderness guide based in southern Utah. In most winter survival situations, clothing and shelter are the most important things. The lost family hunkered inside their overturned jeep, even though the heater wasn't working. If you don't have a car, huddling near a tree or digging a snow cave can provide a shelf from the elements. AAA suggests tying a brightly colored cloth to an antenna to make the vehicle easier to spot. Should I should I go for help? The group in Nevada stayed in place, knowing crews would be looking. Rescuers said that was key to their safety and is recommended in almost all cases. Continuing to move makes it very difficult for people to find you, said Bill Bromberg of Alaska Mountain Rescue. If you feel you must venture out, consider whether you're prepared. Walking, walking even a short distance in temperature of 15 to 20 degrees below zero can lead to frostbite and amputations. What would I do with my cell phone? If you have survived, send text message to reliable friends to share your plight. Rescuers in Nevada were able to use cell tower data from the lost woman's phone to narrow the search area. But how cautions against relying on cell phones in the wilderness, while triangulation can help guide a search. Data probably won't provide the lost person's precise location, because rural cell towers are so few and far between. It's not a 5-ounce rescue package at all. Period. House said, "You're better off with a VIC lighter." What can I do today to avoid the situation? The Nevada family was wearing snow clothes, something that travelers should keep on hand. It's a really good idea to keep extra clothing and insulation in your trunk, even on an interstate drive. Though the northern Midwest is entirely possible, you could be stranded overnight, he said. He recommends bringing a shovel that's large enough to dig out the vehicle, vehicle, a cigarette lighter and a blanket, pack water, granola bars, or other high-protein snacks in the car. A small bottle of lantern fuel also could help start a campfire. Should I even take the trip? AAA recommends delaying trips if bad weather is in the forecast. If that's not possible, others let others know your route, and be cautious about the road less traveled. Even though the family above a jeep, it flipped in soft snow and stopped running. Consider how remote some of these places are. Consider the vehicle you're in and what can happen, said Howard. If a road looks sketchy, retrace your steps instead of pouring onward. When the things started going sideways, retreat to a position of safety, Howard said. Okay, in my next article is new cockroach species replacing oriental roach in southwest U.S. From a garage of Southern California to the apartments of Philadelphia, oriental cockroaches have reared their heads whenever there is a moisture and rubbish or leftover food, but at least in the southwestern United States, and perhaps soon in a town near you, a new species of cockroach is replacing them: Turkestan cockroaches. Compared with the more familiar German, American, and Oriental cockroaches, and the Turkestan roach is a relative newcomer to the scene, arriving to the United States in the 1970s and 1980s from somewhere in Central Asia, perhaps uh, Afghanistan, said Michael Rust, an entomologist at the University of California, Riverside. Riverside. These cockroaches were first spotted near military facilities, and likely hitched rides on equipment and troops returning from these areas, Rust said. The other roach species have been around for more than a century, and American cockroaches have been in country for more than 4,000 years, Rust said. In places where you'd see the original roaches in the past, you're finding these Turkestan roaches, Rust told Life Science. The replacement is likely occurring because Turkestan roaches lay more eggs and mature more quickly than Oriental roaches, Rust said. The Turkestan roach produced about twice as fast as Oriental roach, going through 6 to 7 generations in a 5-year span. Both species are commonly called water bugs, and look similar to each other, except for the adult males. For that reason, in the Southwest, it has gone unnoticed for years, Rust said. Turkestan males are lighter in color and also have complete wings, whereas Oriental roaches only have partial wings that don't allow them to fly. Rust said adults of both insect species measure about 1 inch long. The roaches are further described in a study by Rust and colleague Tina Kim and published recently in a Journal of Entomology. Rust speculated that some Turkestan roaches could be spread through their soul on the internet, where they are bought and sold as live food for reptiles and other animals. There are ideas for such a purpose, since they breed quickly and, unlike some other roaches, cannot climb smoothly surfaces, such as a glass aquarium wall, he said. Turkestan roaches are well established in the southwest and certain areas in southeast, often dwelling around houses, favoring basements, equipment boxes, and other areas not in people's immediate living space. In the northeast, However, there are places where they have been reported living in people's actual living spaces, like kitchens and bathrooms, and this will probably become more common, Rust said. Okay, thank you for your listening. Bye bye.